Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Let's get right to it. All praise, honor, and glory belongs to the heavenly highest, to our Father, Yahawah, in the name of his heavenly Son, our beloved brother, our master and redeemer, our King, Hamashiach Yahawashi. We're here to talk about the middle wall of partition. I hear, Christians talking about this, but they seem to be lost in the sauce as it regards to, the truth of what this is referring to. And this is just another one of those things where it's like if you just follow the scripture, you shouldn't be lost. But again, because I understand the Bible, I understand the ways of the Most High, I completely understand why they are, lost as it pertains to this, why they're confused. This is the Most High's doing. Many people are lost concerning this book. They can't figure it out. They really don't understand it, because it wasn't given to them to understand for the same reason why Yahawashi, why our Messiah, when he spoke in front of the masses of people, the multitudes, that he often spake to them in parables. And he said from his own mouth, that the reason why he spoke to them in parables is because the things that he was saying, it wasn't for everybody to get. It was for select people, for the chosen among all of those people. All right. Not for everybody. Because contrary to Christian belief of John 3:16, it doesn't refer to him really loving the entire world, all the people, because if he really loved everyone, all the people on the entire earth, and he wanted to save everyone on the entire earth, he would not have spoken in parables. He would have spoke plainly so that everybody can understand. He wouldn't have spoken in coded language so that only certain people can get it and everybody else will be lost. You get what I'm saying? So the middle wall of partition, we're going to break this down. Many of you, you know this, you have this, and that's great. But there's other people who, they're gonna need this lesson. They absolutely need it. I know that they need it because I come across these videos of these people talking about these things, and I go into the comment section and I can see the slew of people that have no idea, right? There's nobody anywhere in the comment section correcting, you know, the misunderstanding. So I know that this is needed, because somebody that follows me just might be one of those people who don't understand this. And the Most High wants you to be, he wants you to not be ignorant in this matter. And it just may also be that somebody else who doesn't follow me at the moment, but once I create this video, they'll come across it. Or one of you who do follow me, you're going to hear it and you know somebody who can benefit from this. And so you'll give it to them, you'll share it, and they'll get it and they'll come out of the ignorance as it pertains to this subject. All right, so the middle wall of partition. Let's get to it. We're going to begin in Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2, we're going to start from the tippy. Verse 1. And you hath he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins. All right, and this is, you know, a good point to point this out. He says, and you hath he quickened, and he's talking to the Ephesians, right? Who were dead in trespasses and sins, right? You were dead in trespasses and sins. And why am I, harping on this? Well, it's because we got to understand who the Ephesians are, right? Because again, the Christians will say, well, these Ephesians are, just Gentiles of the other nations. But we'll say, no, these are Gentile Israelites, right? And they'll fight against it. But the wording is important. He says, and you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and in sins. But the scriptures also tell us in Galatians that, sin, what is a sin? Sin is transgression of the law. So the people who are sinning, the people who can sin, are the people who were given the law, who were under the law. If the people were not under the law, they are not the people who can commit trespasses and sins. So these Ephesians have to be Israelites, right? Let's keep going. Wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, because Israel became the children of disobedience, right? And he says the spirit that now worketh, because it didn't always work it, meaning the spirit of The prince of the power of the air wasn't always over Israel, didn't always have um, the Israelites under under control and under his power, so to speak. But at this time, Israel as a nation was under the prince of the power of the air, which is the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. And even unto this day, right now, the spirit of the prince of the power of the air now worketh in the children of disobedience. We are coming away, we are awakening, but many of us and most of us are still under that spirit and will not and cannot come out. Verse 3, among whom also we all had our conversation in times past, right? In the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. But the Most High, Yahawah, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with our Messiah, with Christ, with Yahawashi. Because by grace ye are saved, not by works of the law, right? But by works of faith, right? And hath raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Christ Yahawashi, that in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his grace in his kindness toward us through Hamashiach Yahawashi. For by grace you are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of the Most High. One more time. For by grace ye are saved through faith. By grace you are saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of the Most High. If you can earn it, it is not a gift. If you deserve it because you worked for it, it is not a gift. It is your payment, right? If you go to your job and you go put in 40 hours for the week and they hit you with that check, that paycheck isn't a gift, it's your due. So this gift from the Most High, it is not our payment, it is not our due, it is his gift because we don't deserve it. We haven't earned it. We can't earn it. It is by predestination, whether or not we're going to receive it. And if we are of the people predestined to receive it, he will give us his spirit to live the way he wants us to live. All right. So the two go together, but one comes first. All right. Verse 9, not of works, lest any man should boast, because we know Israel. Israel loves to boast. I do this, I do that. You don't do this, you don't do that. I keep this day, I do this perfectly, and I do this. And what do you do? How do you keep this day? How do you do that? And blah, blah, blah. Right? We are a boastful people. Right? We always trying to ish on one another and have a one up on one another. Right? Everybody's running out trying to keep up with the Joneses or obtain this thing or that thing, and everyone's out here running to and fro trying to get it on their own so they can say I got it out the mud, so they can say nobody helped me, I did it all by myself, and so they can not have this feeling of what's the word, of responsibility to their people. Because if they can say, well, nobody helped me, I did it all myself, then hey, I don't owe anybody anything. But if someone helped me, if someone was there for me, if it was a team thing, then I owe the team. I owe someone. I owe some people, right? But our people don't like to come together. We don't like to help one another. We like to boast, right? We love to be able to say, I got such and such, and you don't. What you know about this? You don't know nothing about this. You know us, how we get down. The Most High knows us and how we get down also. He saw it, right? So he removed the thing that caused the problem, the thing that was causing us to boast, right? The law of Moses. He removed this whole idea of righteousness through works, and he introduced righteousness through faith and grace, so that he can remove boasting from among his people. Verse 10, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Yahawashi unto good works, which the Most High Yahawah hath before ordained that we should walk in them. See, predestined. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Wait a minute, what? Remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. In the past, you were Gentiles in the flesh. Right? So let's continue. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. All right. So this is the difference between there's a schism between the Israelites who were of the circumcision and those who were called the uncircumcision because they weren't keeping the law. All right. So there was a divide between the law keeping Israelites and the non-law keeping Israelites. All right. This is that middle wall of partition. Right. There's a separation between the two, a divide between the two. Israelites were divided into two different groups, the circumcision and the uncircumcision. All right. And the uncircumcision is referred to as Gentiles because when they went away from our God, they became known as Gentiles. Right? Right. Okay. So, verse 12, that at that time ye were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. You were foreigners from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. Because, why does he say this? Because the covenants and the promise and the hope is for Israel and for Israel only. He's making this plain. And these people who he's talking to, they became aliens and strangers from the covenants of the promise, right? Strangers from the covenants of the promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. That's what happened. When they went away from our power, he abandoned them. He stopped allowing them to be called Israel. He stopped watching out for them. They became strangers from the covenants of promise. They had no hope. They were aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. They were pushed out. Right? Someone is like, well, what does commonwealth mean? Let's go into the interlinear. The administration of civil affairs, a state or commonwealth, citizenship, the rights of a citizen. You see, many Israelites were no longer citizens of Israel. They were pushed out. They ceased from being citizens of Israel, for being part of the state or commonwealth. They lost the rights of a citizen. They were no longer under the administration of civil affairs. Why? Because they were no longer in the land. They were no longer under their God, no longer connected to their people. So they became strangers. They became aliens, foreigners, all right, from the commonwealth of Israel. Verse 13. But now in Hamashiach Yahawashi, ye who sometimes were far off are made near, nigh by the blood of Christ, Yahawashi. All right. Again, but now in Christ Yahawashi, ye who sometimes were far off. Why is it saying this? Because Israel was not always far off. The tribes, those who were separated from him, were not always far off. Remember, the other nations, the non-Israelite nations, were always far off from Christ, from our Father. But only Israel was near to him. And if you were near to him and then you go away from him, then you qualify to fall under this group of people who were sometimes far off because you weren't always far off. But again, like I said, just to emphasize it, the other nations, the non-Israelite nations, were always far off. Only Israel were sometimes far off. All right? For he is our peace, who have made both one. Both? Both? But there are many nations. Someone's going to say, yeah, but he's talking about the Gentiles, the uncircumcision. That's everybody who's non-Israel. No, see, they don't understand the history of Israel and how Israel, long before the time of Christ, split and was divided, and all the wars that happened, and the house of Israel became the uncircumcision, and also many of the house of Judah became uncircumcision because of our captivities, being Hellenized, going into the Greek captivity, and what happened under the Greeks and then the Romans, right? They don't quite get it because they don't read the entire Old Testament to include the Apocrypha. So they're lost. They're having to fill in gaps, and they don't study to fill in those gaps. They just take whatever the Christian pastors tell them to believe, and they run with it, right? He says, for he is our peace, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Here is the statement, right? The middle wall of partition. This middle wall of partition that is broken down is made between us. Us who? The circumcision and the uncircumcision. Well, what is the circumcision and the uncircumcision? Just to revisit it, it is those Israelites, the Israelites who were still practicing circumcision and still following the law. All right. And then the Israelites who were not following their God anymore, not going into the synagogues, not, reading the scriptures, right? Not being referred to as Israel. These became known as the uncircumcision because they stopped the practice of circumcision. They stopped doing the things that our people did under the law. So there became a middle wall of partition between our own people. This is a family affair. The Most High is bringing this family back together and tearing down the things that is causing his family to be separated from each other, from being divided, from being enemies. It sucks when brothers and sisters and so forth become enemies. And this is what happened with the children of the Most High God, Yahawah. His children became enemies. And like any great parent, you want to stop the fighting and the beef and the war and the hatred among your children. This is what he did. Why doesn't this make sense to Christians? Because they want to steal the inheritance of the Israelites, so they can't hear the things that just make common sense. These things make good sense to those people who have no desire to steal the inheritance of the Israelites, those who are not wicked, right? And those who are given the spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit of truth, right? Okay. He says, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. He abolished what? The enmity. What else? Even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. So he didn't abolish the 10 commandments. He abolished the law of commandments that were contained in ordinances. The ordinances he's talking about were the land laws. He's talking about the law of Moses, not the royal law, not the 10 commandments. The Torah wasn't abolished. The 10 commandments were not abolished. The law of Moses was abolished. For to make in himself of twain, meaning of two, one new man, so making peace, to make himself of two, one new man, not of many, of two. So he's talking about two different groups, not many, two. And these two groups consist of Israelites and Israelites only. There's no other way to put it. All right? No sugarcoating it, no way to reword it to make it be what it ain't, or to make it, not be what it is. right? And that he might reconcile both unto the Father in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. All right, to reconcile both. All right, let's go and get the word reconcile. Pardon me, that he might reconcile. The meaning of the word reconcile is to reconcile back again, to bring back a former state of harmony. Bring back a former state of harmony. There never was a state of harmony between Israelites and non-Israel. He's talking about this former state of harmony between the house of Israel. And when I say the house of Israel in this case, I mean what is supposed to be at the end, meaning the entire body of the 12 tribes. All right, not the 10 tribes or the 9 tribes, as is probably better spoken. All right, to bring back, read, is to do something again, or to bring back, right? To bring back a former state of harmony, not to institute a state of harmony, to bring back a former state of harmony. All right, to bring his family back together again. That's what this is about, to bring Israel back together and remove the hatred and animosity between his people. You see what we're going through right now as so-called Negroes and black people? Nothing new under the sun. The thing which has been is the thing which shall be. We've always had this problem. We're experiencing the problem still now to this day. We bear the record that we are the people. Just look at us. When you know that the scriptures are cyclical, prophecies, cyclical, the things that occur, cyclical. What goes around comes around, right? What has been will be. That sort of thing, right? So you know who the people are when you look at the state, when you read the book and you read the state of Israel, and then you look at us right now in this world, it is quite obvious who match the scriptures, who mirror the biblical Israelites. And it's us. And it's not those other people or any other people. They don't match. They don't fit. The puzzle pieces do not fit if you're doing it any other way. That's why the other nations, they have no idea who the people are. That's why they keep being wrong about their guesses about prophecy. They're all making guesses about the rapture and prophecy and so forth. And they keep having to revisit and revise their predictions and their prophecies after they're shown to be wrong, and they update it and make a new prediction, and then that one becomes shown that it's wrong, and then they make a new one, and then that one is shown to be wrong, and then they make a new one, and it's going to keep happening because they don't know who to watch. Everybody knows that Israel is the Most High's time clock. In order to know where we are in prophecy, where we are in his plan, you got to observe his people. But if you don't know which people to observe, you're going to be wrong about every guess that you make. All right. It says, and that he might reconcile both unto the Father in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were nigh. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of Yahawah. All right. So the springboard from there, the middle wall of partition. This should already be enough to just leave now and say we're done. But we're not gonna leave from there, because most bodies, right, need these additional scriptures to support what we've already read. Zechariah chapter 11, let's come down to verse 7. And I will feed the flock of the slaughter, talking about Israel, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staves. The one I called beauty, and the other I called bands, and I fed the flock. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and their soul also abhorred me. Then said I will not feed you. That dieth, let it die, and that is to be cut off, let it be cut off, and let the rest eat everyone the flesh of another. Now, this is important for us to understand in this time. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody is not going to get this. It's not meant for everybody, because the Most High doesn't love everybody. He doesn't intend to try to save everybody. It is impossible to save everybody. It is impossible to teach everybody. Everyone cannot get this. For those people who are destined to die, the people who he wants to kill, who he does not want to save, they'll never understand, because he wants them to keep that same energy, because he wants them to meet their desired destruction, the desired end and destruction that he has in mind for them. That's why he says, I will not feed you spiritually. He is not feeding those who he doesn't care about. That dieth, let it die. There are people whose destiny is to die, to go into that eternal fire, that lake of fire. Everlasting life is not meant for them. That dieth, let it die. And that is to be cut off, let it be cut off. Right? It says, I took my staff, even beauty, and cut it asunder, that I might break my covenant, which I made with all the people. And it was broken in that day. And so the poor of the flock that waited upon me knew that it was the word of Yahawah. All right. Now let's come down to verse 14 to get the point. Then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. Listen up, Christians. This is what you guys don't understand. When you stay away from the Old Testament, you don't understand what's going on in the New Testament. When he's talking about reconciliation, right? Tearing down the middle wall of partition. You don't realize that the brotherhood between Judah and Israel was broken. You don't know this. So when you read the New Testament and every time you see the word Jew, you think it's talking about all 12 tribes. You think it's talking about all of Israel, as if all of Israel was all together. They were all in Judea. They were all in Jerusalem, but they were not. But again, you fall short in your knowledge because you're not well studied. All right? The brotherhood between Judah and Israel was broken way back in this time. He did it a long time ago. He broke the brotherhood. And then in the New Testament, he talks about the reconciliation and tearing down the middle wall of partition, the divide between Judah and Israel. He's removing the divide between Judah and Israel. That is what the middle wall of partition is referencing. All right, let's go to Hosea chapter 1. The word of Yahawah that came unto Hosea the son of Beri in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. You notice that Israel has its own kings and Judah has its own kings, because they're separate. They're not one nation. They're not one kingdom anymore. They're separate kingdoms, separate nations. All right? That's why they have separate kings. In the beginning of the word of Yahawah by Hosea. And Yahawah said unto Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from Yahawah. So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And see what Hosea had to do in his time, many Israelite men are doing in our current time. They're taking wives of whoredom. Prostitute culture is the dominant and predominant culture among quote unquote Negro black women, Israelite women. All right. It's the most prevalent. All right. We all see it. We all know it. This is not slander. This is speaking the truth, because that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to speak the truth, no matter who the truth is concerning. All right. he had to go and take a wife of whoredoms because the Most High wanted him to experience what he had to experience with Israel. And so now the Israelite men are being forced to experience what our father had to experience with us as a nation, being joined unto harlots, having to deal with the frustration of dealing with harlots. We have to deal with the frustration of dealing with harlots. Because this is something that the Most High does. He'll put you through something that he has to go through in order for you to learn and understand him. All right? Or just as part of your punishment. All right? So he's making a statement with Hosea to everybody that, hey, Israel, you're whores. And I have to deal with you. You're supposed to be my wife, my wives, right? Israel and Judah. Joined unto you, but I'm joined unto harlots. Let me show you what it's like. That's what he did with Hosea. And that's what he's doing with Israel right now. And those of us who get to escape such women, we are the blessed few. Barakatah Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi for the fact that this has not been my fate. I'm thankful because what many other brothers have to go through, yikes. I feel for you, brothers, but at the same time, I know that such is the reward of the wicked man. So you got to get it together. All right. All right, verse 3, he says, so he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And Yahawah said unto him, call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. All right. So you see, it's the difference, the separation between Judah and Israel, because we would have animosity with one each other. We would have enmity with one another, wars and strife between the two, right? And the Most High says he will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel, break the bow. I will break the strength, the power of Israel. And she conceived again and bare a daughter. And the Most High said unto him, call her name Loruhamah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by Yahawah their God, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. All right. See, now this is a difference being made between Judah, the house of Judah, and the house of Israel, because the house of Israel became the uncircumcision. They went away from our power. They were separated from him. All right. And so many wars happened between Israel and Judah, and Israel always sided against Judah with our other enemies. So this angered the Most High. Right. But this is something that happened between, the two nations, the two kingdoms of Israel, northern and southern kingdoms. All right. He says, now when she had weaned Loruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said Yahawah, call his name Loami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. He's talking to the house of Israel, not to the house of Judah, who he just told he's going to have mercy on them. He's talking to the house of Israel. See, so they're being severed from his family. They're being cut out of his family. They're no longer going to be called the children of Israel. They're no longer going to be called the children of God. Verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel, he says, yet, meaning, so with all that being said, now watch, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, meaning the place where he's talking to them now. Remember, he just told them, you are not going to be my people anymore. And he says, it's going to come to pass that in a place where they were told, where you are not my people, it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. What does that mean? Because what he's saying that one day they're going to be his people again. He cut them off, but the time is going to come when there's going to be a reconciliation, when he's going to reconcile them to himself again. where they're going to come back. All right. And he says, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together. Remember, he says, um, to restore them to the former state of harmony. You see how the scriptures line up when you know what you're reading, when you know where to go, when when you get the precepts together, there's no contradiction unless you're unlearned. Right? Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. All right. So let's go ahead and skip over to Hosea chapter 4. Let's come to verse 15. Though thou Israel play the harlot, yet let not Judah offend, and come not ye unto Gilgal, neither go ye up to Bethaven, nor swear, Yahawah liveth. He's telling Israel, I don't want you calling on my name. I don't want you coming anywhere near Judah. Be ye separate. Don't come to the lands where my people are. You're not my people anymore. He says, nor swear, Yahawah liveth. He says, I don't want you calling on my name anymore. For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now Yahawah will feed them as a lamb in a large place. All right. Ephraim is joined to idols. Ephraim is the head tribe of the house of Israel, for those of you who don't know and understand. All right. So when he says Ephraim, this is symbolic of the whole house of Israel, not just the tribe of Ephraim, but the whole house of Ephraim. Because so as the head goes, so goes the body, right? Well, Ephraim is the head of the body of the northern kingdom. And so as they went, so went the rest of their body, which was joined unto idols. And listen to what he tells Judah. Let him alone. Let him alone. Leave him alone. Have nothing to do with them. That's the Most High's commandment to Judah, is to leave Ephraim, aka the house of Israel, to leave them alone. That's the brotherhood being broken, severed. The middle wall of partition being erected. All right? That's what just took place. All right? And let's go back. Let's go to Hosea chapter 2. Let's start at verse 1. Say ye unto your brethren, Ami, and to your sisters, Ruama. Plead with your mother. Plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked, and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother hath played the harlot. She hath conceived them. She that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers. Now give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her paths. Again, this is talking about Israel, what he said he was going to do to Israel. He says, I will hedge up thy way with thorns. All right. And make a wall that she shall not find her path, so that she can't find her way back to him. He says, I'm going to put you through some things, and I'm going to make it so that you don't find your way back to me. You don't get yourselves back on the right path again. All right. You're going to go astray, and I'm going to make you keep that energy for a long time. You're going to keep walking the wrong way and doing the wrong things. I'm not going to allow you to find your way back to me, or to find your way back onto the path of righteousness. But again, we know that he only meant this for a time. And so in the New Testament, when you read in Ephesians chapter 2, when he's talking about removing the middle wall of partition and reconciling the two, he's talking about Judah and Israel, making his family whole again. That's what it's talking about. And many Christians hate to hear this because they want the scriptures to be about Christians. They want the book to no longer be about Israel. Although the Most High went through painstaking detail to keep a genealogy, a record of genealogy. Why did it do this if he was just going to throw it all away? Of keeping record and showing you the bloodline and tracing from Adam all the way to Israel, all the way to Christ and so forth. What was the point of all the genealogy keeping, all the records of, this family and that family, this father and that father and so forth? What do you think the purpose was if his whole plan was to get rid of those people? Why go through all that trouble of detailing the genealogies just to throw it away? It really doesn't make sense. See, Satan has convinced you of a lie so that you can be destroyed with him. And you can only come out from the delusion, out from the darkness that you're under, if the Most High sees fit to bring you out, to call you out, to yank you, to pull you out. And he does it by way of voices like mine, right? So if you're able to hear, you'll be saved. If you're unable, you will be destroyed. That is the bottom line. This book has never ceased from being about the Most High's relationship with the Israelites. It has never changed. You just believe that it changed because Satan has greatly deceived the whole world to your shame and to your detriment if you believe the doctrines of Christianity. So that concludes this one. All praise, honor, and glory belongs to the heavenly highest, to our God, our Father, Yahawah, who sits on high and who works great works through his right hand, through our King Yahawashi, the only begotten of our Father, who is the example of what is to come for the rest of us. See, he showed us. He is the demonstration of what our Father has planned for the rest of us. He wanted us to see that there can be other gods, but only through him, through his power, only through his family. If you are his children, you're not other gods beside him. You are other gods with him, because we will all become an extension of him, not separate. So when he says that there is no God beside me, it's not a contradiction, because there is no other gods beside him, because his people become one with him. The same way Yahawashi Christ is one with him. The same way. All right? That's what's to come. And so, again, I've concluded the matter already. All right? The rest of this commentary is just for somebody out there, man, because through the Spirit, I'm just talking. But now my talking is done. I'm going to let you guys get back to doing whatever it was that you were doing. Hopefully it was something in righteousness. All right. Study to show thyself approved. Don't just listen to these lessons and depend on these videos solely. It's okay to watch them, but don't depend solely on the lessons. You got to get into the scriptures for yourselves. All of us, we got to do it. All right. This is how he feeds us. This is how he sups with us, how he communes with us. All right. His spirit is in this book. You have a relationship with him when you read the book. So read the book. And I pray that you guys are all led in the spirit of truth unto all knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, because to abide and to abound in the fruits of the Spirit. Till next time, Go out there and be a blessing to someone else. Whenever possible, each one, reach one. Shalom.